94 Rocks, Jay-Z hanging backstage once again. It's Rockfest, Cadott, Wisconsin 2024, the Dirty 30s. And right now, I'm getting a chance to talk to one of the lead singers of the bands performing tonight. And they're going to be rocking on the Who's on Top stage. We're talking about Caleb from the band Beartooth. How you doing, brother?
I am having an absolutely wonderful day. Weather's beautiful, great bands, great gig. What's not to love?
You've been here before, so it's not your first rodeo, correct?
Yes, I have definitely been here before. That's for sure.
What do you like, I guess, about this festival, if you could say something about it that you love about it?
I mean, it just seems to be such a, easygoing, fun, just music-loving festival, you know? The layout is very interesting as a rock band. It's a little more kind of like on the country side of things, but I honestly love that. I love that everybody out here, you know, you just get to come. There's a great place to sit. The weather's not too bad. Just get a cold drink, get some food, hang out, and watch some of your favorite bands. It's just a really, really good festival.
Of course, you've been all over the world, and I guess I'm kind of curious to what your opinion is of Midwest rockers, Midwest listeners, Midwest fans of Beartooth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Midwest boy, born and raised. I think that we just have a really deep appreciation for this music. You know, for a lot of us in the Midwest, you know, we didn't grow up in, say, you know, Los Angeles or New York City or whatever, where like these music scenes that have been going for years and years. In the Midwest, it feels a little more personal. And you can feel that love. You feel that in the festivals. You feel that as a band. And you really carry that pride with you through your career. And, you know, I'm very honored to be, Midwest born and raised.
Let's talk about the love of Beartooth. And, it's always a challenge to start. But there has to be at some point where you eventually get to that point where you want to be. When did you feel that finally was the point where you wanted to be?
My goodness. I don't know. I mean, I started doing this professionally quite young. I joined, my first band ever, I think, when I was 14. And then I started touring full-time when I was 15 years old, and I haven't stopped since. 31 now, and, been doing Beartooth for 11 years, and it is the biggest blessing in my life and my absolute favorite thing to do. So I don't know. I mean, it was one of those things that it just kind of happened, I think, from a very, very young age. All signs started leading and pointing to me doing this. So I don't really know the exact progression, but I'm just happy to be here doing it, you know.
Let's talk about this year. It's been an amazing year. Actually, last year, this year, 2 number one songs. Your first 2 ever number one songs. First came out with Love Myself. What was it like to finally have a number one song? I guess, what did it mean to you to have a number one song on rock radio?
I mean, it meant a ton. I grew up on rock radio, and I just have so much and I mean this wholeheartedly. Like, I have so much appreciation and now a lot more understanding of the format. And we have made some of our greatest fan bases that I think a band could ever have from rock radio. So, to finally get that number one, and then to follow it up with another one that stayed number one for 2 weeks, it truly is one of those, almost impossible to process things, which is great. And, I just try and kind of take it for the blessing that it is. And, I really am just honored to be able to be in a scene that's so supportive, and to have put in the years and, met everybody at these great stations that support our band. I just feel so honored.
Does it put more pressure on you now after you've gone back-to-back number ones, going, oh boy, now what do we got to raise the bar even more, I guess? Or what do you consider success?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny, with the radio stuff, I think before I used to kind of have it all wrong, where I would be, you would think, what does radio want to hear? What is blah, blah, blah? What do these listeners want? When in reality, what I think the radio wants and what people want is you to just do your most honest work. And that's honestly what, I Was Alive and Might Love Myself were, where I think they're some of the most honest songs that I've written. They were a little more out of the box for, say the format and for just our band in general. But it was just one of those things that, we didn't write those songs. I didn't write those songs thinking let's send this to radio. I just wrote those songs to write those songs. And then when it was time to choose songs for radio, those ended up being no-brainers. And I think it just goes better when I don't think about anything other than doing my best possible work and being as honest as I can with myself, because then at the end of the day, I'm being as honest as I can with all the listeners. And I think one of the biggest things that people get wrong when it comes to radio and this business in general is underestimating the power of a listener and the intelligence of a listener. And like, I have so much respect for the people that listen to the radio and listen to our stuff, and have learned over the last 15 years that all they want is a good, honest song. And if you don't have that, they're not interested, as they shouldn't be. So that's just kind of what I try to do now, is I've taken that kind of thought process, and if anything, it's just been more empowering and validating that as long as I'm doing what's true to me, then the people seem to get it. And that to me is, I can sleep very well at night with that.
I Was Alive, I think, to me has been a real eye-opener for a lot of people, the meaning of it. And obviously musicians sometimes don't have intent for meaning. It's all up to who listens to it. I guess, what was your intent for that meaning? Is it coming across exactly kind of the way you had sung it?
Yeah, it really is. That song was inspired by the last conversation I had with my late grandfather, who is a really big part of my life and an amazing man. And we were just talking about his life at the end of it, and it was this beautiful conversation, and it really just made me want to outwardly do everything I possibly could to make sure I'm squeezing everything out of this towel we call life, wringing out every drop. And so in that song, I just tried to kind of, as simply as I possibly could, talk about that. And I wrote that song with a really good friend of mine who goes by the name of Drew Fault. He goes by Wizard Blood. His name is Drew Fault. Incredible songwriter. But yeah, I kind of told him about what I was going through, and we started working on lyrics, and we were just trying to simplify. And like, we don't need metaphors here. We don't need to make this hard to understand. Let's make this as simple of a concept to grasp as possible. And that served the song the best, and I think it made for a really good way for people to understand what I was talking about. And it really is an honor to have written that song.
I tell you, it hit home for myself, just even thinking about just the lyrics going, I don't want to be that guy that goes, wow, I could have done that stuff back in the day and I didn't do it.
Exactly. I really believe that when we're laying on our deathbeds, we're just going to be looking back and thinking about all the good times and all the fun stuff we did. And I know for a fact we're not going to be sitting there wishing we spent more time stressed out and depressed and worried. So,
Absolutely.
Why not today?
All right, last question before I know you got going. You got a busy schedule today. What's next for Beartooth? What can you tell us? What's coming out next? What's on the horizon, I guess, for the fans, for the listeners, for everybody?
Yeah, as per usual, a bunch of really, really cool stuff that I cannot talk about yet. We got a bunch of really cool plans. A thing I can talk about, like, we're going to Europe soon. We're doing our biggest Europe and UK headliner to date, which is very exciting. And as always, just working on stuff, working on the future. There's some very cool stuff coming that I wish I could talk about, but just keep your eyes peeled, because we are definitely not done being active in any stretch. We got more busy stuff coming. It's going to be really fun.
Awesome. Caleb, thanks so much for taking a second of your time. We love spinning your stuff on our 94ROCKS station. We're a huge sponsor. We love you so much. Our fans love you, and looking forward to seeing you rocking tonight.
Well, cannot wait, man. It's an absolute honor to be a part of the family, and I just appreciate it so much. Truly, I do.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, man.
Once again, that's Caleb. That's Beartooth. I'm Jay-Z, backstage at 94ROCKS.